Hunter Wohler is already proving all 32 teams in the NFL wrong as the 7th round pick shined in his NFL debut. Yes, it is Talkin Badgers, powered by BadgerNotes.com. I am your host, Kedrick Stumbris. You can find me on Blue Sky and the website formerly known as Twitter at Kedrick Stumbris. Also follow the podcast on the website formerly known as Twitter at Talkin Badgers. Same thing on YouTube, youtube.com/@TalkinBadgers. While you're there, hit the subscribe button. It is free, and hit that bell so you get notified as soon as we put this show into your feed. We are talking about Badgers in the Bigs, Badgers in the NFL today, the second part of our series talking about the Wisconsin Badgers in the NFL. Last week, we broke down some of the Wisconsin Badgers in the NFC and AFC East. What's going on with them today? We are talking Badgers in the NFC and AFC South. And who knows, maybe we'll make this into a segment during the season on Sundays. Give our little Chris Berman-esque recap of the Wisconsin Badgers as they are doing in the NFL. But we got to start with the electric preseason debut that Hunter Wohler put together for the Indianapolis Colts. Before we also get to some old friends who maybe did not have as good of a time in their NFL preseason debuts this past weekend. But Hunter Wohler, he leads the Indianapolis Colts with 9 combined tackles, 6 of them solo in his preseason debut. And that situation down there in Indy, it's volatile. It's a brand new defensive coordinator who is just kind of the perfect fit for a Hunter Wohler type, a versatile guy. Lou Anarumo at defensive coordinator, after spending a season in Cincinnati in that role, comes over, and Anarumo is pretty well regarded around the league for his in-game adjustments, for really scheming up defensive assignments in ways that surprise teams. And when you have a guy like Hunter Wohler, who in this game for the Colts, lined up in the box at one point and then dropped back into coverage on the same play, that's exactly what you want. If you are Hunter Wohler, that's what you want out of a defensive coordinator, a guy who is going to be willing to use you, a versatile talent, a big guy at safety, in many, many, many ways. On the offensive side of the ball in Indianapolis, we have Jonathan Taylor and Hunter Wohler. Jonathan Taylor and Tanor Bortolini, and both of them lining up for starting roles. Bortolini, after being a pretty highly regarded draft pick in 2024, absolutely crushed it at the NFL Combine. He steps in now after the Colts lose some real weapons on the interior offensive line, and Jonathan Taylor is going to have to learn to run behind some new bodies. Fortunately, Tanor Bortolini is there. Another former Wisconsin Badger is there to help out, as starting center Ryan Kelly head to the Minnesota Vikings, the former Indianapolis Colts, as well as at guard, Will Fries. He heads from the starting role in Indianapolis to the same role with the Minnesota Vikings. And so now Tanor Bortolini steps up as of today, August 10th. That's the starting center in Indianapolis, for better or for worse. If you are a Wisconsin Badgers fan who watched a lot of those snaps in 2023, Tanor Bortolini going to be the starting center of an NFL team. Who he's going to be snapping the ball to? I guess that's more of an open question. Anthony Richardson started the preseason opener. He ends up dislocating his pinky in that game. Daniel Jones is slated to be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, the former New York Giant, who lost that job out as he is released, and Russell Wilson, now the starting quarterback in East Rutherford, as Daniel Jones will start preseason game week 2 when the Green Bay Packers come to town in Indianapolis. Jonathan Taylor, I'm sure, going to get plenty of run for an offense that may be a little challenged through the air this upcoming year. Another trio of Wisconsin Badgers in the AFC South is hanging out in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas, home to Dare Ogunbowale, Quintez Cephus, and the highest rated quarterback recruit in Wisconsin Badgers football history, It is Graham Mertz. And Graham Mertz did not cover himself in glory in his debut in the National Football League. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But there's also Quintez Cephus down there in Houston. If we had recorded this episode a week ago, if we had started talking about the NFC West and the AFC West, we would have been talking about Quintez Cephus at that point in time, as he played for the San Francisco 49ers for about 4 days this offseason, camped with San Francisco until he found his way back to Houston, where he spent a large chunk of the 2024 season, 2023 or 2024, in the preseason. The 2024 preseason, because in 2023 he faced a suspension for gambling, for wagering on NFL games, and it has been since 2022 that Quintez Cephus has made a 53-man NFL roster, doing so in Detroit. Q trying to work his way off of a roster bubble, find his way onto an NFL team once again, as he did for a few seasons with the Lions. And look, alongside of him in the offense, a guy who's going to see more run is Dare Ogunbowale. He, the leading rusher for Houston in the preseason opener this past year. And that is a weird running back room in Houston for the Texans. Joe Mixon is there, a very, very solid running back, and he is out for the time being with a non-football, ankle and foot injury. Nick Chubb, whose knee and foot have both kind of exploded the last couple of seasons, did sit out of a practice in Houston this past week in training camp as well. And so there's Dare Ogunbowale, kind of just waiting for a banged up running back room. Dare gonna see his own opportunities, maybe not just as a kicker for the Houston Texans. But yes, he led the Texans in rushing in their preseason opener. 29 yards on 5 carries, 5.8 yards per attempt. That's some Wisconsin Badger running back numbers if I've ever seen them. But let's talk about the third leading rusher for the Houston Texans in their preseason opener. That was Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz did not have a great day. As you may have seen if you follow the podcast or myself on the website formerly known as Twitter, head over there at Talkin Badgers. Graham Mertz threw a pick, a horrendous interception, as Wisconsin Badgers fans may have been used to by now, or Florida Gators fans. Just horribly overthrew everybody, and the football landed safely in the safety's hands. But that was not all Graham Mertz did. He also completed 7 passes of his 14 attempts for a grand total of 27 yards, and not just that one pick, but 2 more, 3 interceptions on 14 passing attempts, 7 completions for 27 yards. Graham Mertz, I'm not sure his time in the National Football League is going to be long. Let's talk about another offensive line. Actually, let's skip to another former Wisconsin Badger turned Florida Gator who followed Graham Mertz to Gainesville, that being Chimere Dike. We're going to talk about Chimere Dike and Kevin Zeitler. A little blast from the past for us veteran Wisconsin Badgers fans, for a veteran in the NFL. Yes, Zetler and Dike are hanging out in Nashville, Tennessee, both of their first seasons with the Titans. That is Chimere Dike. He may find his way onto this roster. I think he's going to find his way onto the Tennessee Titans roster this upcoming season. After a joint practice this past week between the Titans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 1 overall pick Cam Ward, who Chimere Dike hoping that he'll get the ball thrown his way by Cam Ward, Miami quarterback, and a Florida wide receiver. See if there's a little bit of a connection there. Cam Ward went out of his way to praise Chimere Dike alongside his connection with the starting wide receivers. And it seems Dike might be auditioning for a bit of a punt returner role in Nashville this upcoming season. He might get some run there, have an ability to make an impact. In college, remember, he averaged a little over 10 yards per punt return when he did so on 29 attempts between his time in Madison and Gainesville, Florida. Meanwhile, Kevin Zeitler, the former Wisconsin Badgers All-American, a 2-time Big Ten champion, a 2023 Pro Bowler in Baltimore, probably a 2024 Pro Bowl snub in Detroit. But the long-time starting guard in the NFL, Kevin Zeitler, is now in Nashville, slated to block for that number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward. And Zetler hoping for yet another healthy NFL season. Long time he's been in the league, since 2012. And per the Tennessee Titans, Zetler has played more offensive snaps than any other lineman in the league since the Waukesha native was drafted into the National Football League. Hoping for another standout season for Zetler. Let's move on and wrap up with a couple of offensive linemen, the first of which resides in the final AFC South team that we are going to be talking about today. That is Cole Van Lannon, Jacksonville Jaguar. Cole Van Lannon, former 6th-round pick to the Green Bay Packers. Cole Van Lannon, although that did not last very long, he's back in Jacksonville for a 4th season with the Jaguars as one of their preferred reserves on the offensive line after signing his restricted free agent tender this past off season. Van Lannon started 3 games for the Jaguars last season, saw action in 9. I imagine he'll probably see the field in around that same, handful to half of the regular season games this upcoming year, as Van Lannon is trying to get the Jacksonville Jaguars moving in the right direction in that swing guard, swing tackle role under first-year head coach Liam Cohn, former offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for an offense that was just absolutely electric down the stretch in Tampa a year ago. We'll see if Cole Van Lannon can step in from time to time and give Trevor Lawrence, a man who got paid an offseason ago, some time to throw back there to the weapons he's got down there in Jacksonville. Finally, we're going to wrap up with the lone Wisconsin Badger in the NFC South. Meanwhile, while you're here, if you're still here at this point in time, we know you are an absolute sicko, and you should hit that subscribe button down below this video if you're watching or otherwise listening on Spotify. Only about a third of you are subscribed. What is this? It is free. Hit the button to make sure you get notified as soon as a new episode of Talkin Badgers gets into your feed on your platform of choice. Let's wrap up with Jack Nelson, the Atlanta Falcon, another 7th-round pick in this 2025 NFL draft. Nelson did surrender a sack in his preseason debut, and he's trying to fight his way into a bit of a swing tackle role. Before the opener in the first depth chart for the Atlanta Falcons, Jack Nelson was listed as the 3rd right tackle on that depth chart. There's going to be an opportunity for him. Jack Nelson is trying to just find his way forward. Storm Nelson is the swing tackle that has played that role in Atlanta the last couple of years, and he has been dinged up during this camp. Jack Nelson has seen some time with the ones, trying to make an impression. It's gone okay. We'll see what happens there. He's had some opportunities, but I think Jack Nelson is pretty firmly on the roster bubble, even if I think it's more likely than not he is on the right side of that bubble. I think he'll end up making the 53-man roster in Atlanta. At the very least, I think he has a better chance of making it than Graham Mertz has a chance of making the 53 down in Houston. That is going to do it for today's episode of Talkin Badgers. Hey, if you have liked this episode catching you up on the Wisconsin Badgers in the NFL, let me know down in the comments. The Spotify comments, the YouTube comments really does help us, get to know you as an audience, give you more of what you want. That's what we're going to be doing here on Talkin Badgers tomorrow. Come on back, because I'm going to be headed to practice in Madison, Wisconsin for the Wisconsin Badgers football team as they return from Platteville. And we are going to be talking to quarterbacks coach Kenny Guyton and the Gunslingers quarterbacks tomorrow in Madison. Talking to Billy Edwards Jr., maybe a little Danny O'Neill. Well, we'll see what happens there. Maybe we'll get the opportunity to talk to Carter Smith, highly regarded quarterback recruit, true freshman. We'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it goes down. And the only way you're going to get to know about it, the only way you're going to get to know if we get to talk to Carter Smith, is by hitting that subscribe button right now. That subscribe button, hit the like button, 5 stars on your platform of choice, Apple, Spotify, really, really, really does help the show. Until we talk to you all again tomorrow, you can follow me on the website formerly known as Twitter and on Blue Sky at Kedrick Stumbris. Follow the podcast at Talkin Badgers. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/@Talkin Badgers. Until then, on Wisconsin.